Okay, we are live now on YouTube. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of LTR on the Blockchain. So just a reminder of why we are doing these videos at LTR Digital Group. Why is a marketing agency doing videos about blockchain and decentralization? So I myself have been an advocate of cryptocurrency and blockchain for a number of years. And really towards in the end of the second part of 2017 and certainly into 2018, I started noticing a lot of projects starting to appear, at least to me, starting to appear that were leveraging blockchain and decentralization, but they were actually in either the marketing technology or ad tech or even digital media space. And I found that really, really interesting to me and something that I felt I needed to be paying attention to a whole lot more. So I decided to start doing this video interview series with these various projects that I'm following personally or that we're following here at the agency. And help introduce these projects to either agency peers or marketing executives that are out there that maybe they don't understand blockchain, maybe they're not involved in cryptocurrency at all, but they do need to be aware of developments that are happening in the space that could really, really impact what we do as either as marketers or agency owners in the future, or marketing executives and brand managers. So this is an exploration of ad tech, martech, and digital media projects that are being developed using blockchain technology and leveraging and exploring the possibilities of decentralized models in those areas. Because as we've discussed before in previous videos, there's a lot of inefficiency in ad tech for sure, and maybe even martech. I showed you in the last video the sheet of the 6,000 vendors that now make up the ad tech and martech ecosystem that we operate in, and built into that is just a lot of inefficiencies. So this week we are going to be looking at a project that I'm going to put in the ad tech category for my purposes, but it is dealing with a part of ad tech that has really been getting a lot of traction over the last few years, has been growing a lot itself. And that's influencer marketing. And if you are a marketing executive for a brand, or if you're an agency owner that works with brands, chances are influencer marketing has been a topic that you've been discussing, exploring, or maybe even using yourself. I do have some numbers here. A matter of fact, let me do this first. So who I have with me today, joining us today, is Dmitry Malyanov, co-founder at AdHive. Hello, Dmitry.
Hello, Dale.
So glad you could join us. What I'm gonna do is, once you start getting into your presentation, I'm gonna pop back and forth between the live chat to see if there are any questions that come up. But just a real brief conversation about influencer marketing. So I actually pulled some, anybody that's curious about influencer marketing, all you need to do is do a search and you're gonna find a lot of information about influencer marketing. And what I did is I just pulled up, this was from the State of Influencer Marketing 2018 report that came out in December, and it looked at influencer marketing going into the future. And some of the information that they provided about influencer marketing was that 86% of the people they surveyed, they said 86% of the marketers reported using influencer marketing in 2017. 86, that's a pretty decent number. 92% of them said that it is an effective marketing strategy for them. 92%. I thought those are pretty strong numbers. In the survey, they also found that 39% of the marketers intend to increase their influencer marketing budget in 2018. And the majority of the ones that they surveyed, they said the majority planned on spending between $25,000 and $50,000 in 2018 on influencer marketing. But they did say for them, one of the biggest challenges they had was, even though they felt it was effective, the survey, they said that they felt the ability to measure the impact of influencer marketing was a big challenge for them. So that was in the State of Influencer Marketing. And then this was just from this month, April. This is from Forbes magazine, basically echoing what the study had said. So influencer marketing is certainly a hot area, and brands are leveraging it. So My immediate question to you, Dimitri, I did look at kind of the history of AdHive, but what was it about influencer marketing that attracted you guys, and how did you land on influencer marketing?
Yeah, sure. That was not a long journey for us, but just to make a few comments of your numbers, just you mentioned that you're completely right that a lot of companies right now understand that influencer marketing is a pretty hot thing, and everyone should be there. And lots of companies wants to use influencer marketing, but right now it comes to just several placements on top influencers, and that's it. Companies start to test how it works, and you're completely right that there is no clear way how to measure the effect. Surprisingly, I'd say last year we traveled a lot, and in Asia, companies started to use influencer marketing a bit earlier than in Western countries, as we they use it in a bit different way. I will explain it later, but companies, people around the world right now trying to use influencer marketing and trying to make it as a one of the main channels of their marketing strategies. As compare, let's say 3 years ago, it was one of the last channel. They spend money on media placement, digital, and maybe on influencers. But right now it became more and more important.
I was going to say, just this last Sunday on the morning news programs here in the States, there was a story about major design brands using influencer marketing, large brands. And they talked to the Estee Lauder, so Estee Lauder, a global brand, and they asked them, they said, okay, are you using influencer marketing? They said, yes. And they said, how much of your budget are you putting into influencer marketing? Would you say 30%? And the guy kind of just grinned, and the interviewer said, okay, 50%? He says, yeah, you're in the range. So even Estee Lauder says between 30 to 50% of their budget goes towards influencer marketing. And of course, these are the big influencers, right? And you guys, micro influencers are coming up as a source of influencer marketing as well. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely, because as you said, even big companies spend actually enough budget for influencers, but they spend it on top or tier 2 influencers. So this layers of influencers kind of overheated. They became celebrities quite fast, and we want to add here micro influencers, let's say even nano influencers, very people who have several hundreds of subscribers, of followers, but the engagement rate they have is much higher. So compared to celebrity, they have 10 times higher engagement rate. It means that people who watch them, who subscribe on their channels, they trust them 10 times more, because it looks like recommendations, personal recommendation. That's why we believe that micro-influencer marketing is very effective and very important thing, because people and micro-influencers, they recommend some things and services to their friends, to their families, to people they know personally, and they are very careful. And that's why if they recommend, then people really trust them, and that's important, and that's the quite a big difference to top influencers. So just a few words about how we came to this area. We start to develop video and speech recognition services in 2016, the beginning of 2016, and we in the middle of 2017, we already could recognize objects, words, and even some movements on video. So we had tech company, and we had experience in placement, in advertising placement on influencers, several campaigns, and we met with a huge, I don't know, problems, because we need to spend a lot of time in efforts to agree to find them, to agree with them, and to control. And it's totally impossible to launch campaign on tens or even on hundreds of influencers without, let's say, it's painful process, really. And then we realized that we have technology which can detect automatically the fact of placement of advertising on every channel we want to check. So we can track placement automatically, and blockchain technology was the last brick on this wall. Blockchain technology provides us to automate payments in effective way, in very convenient way, cross-border, doesn't matter. And artificial intelligence, video recognition and speech recognition, and blockchain provide us the whole stack, the whole technology stack for this service, which can fully, I mean, really fully automate placement of advertising on influencers channels. So right now we can spend 15 minutes for placement of advertising on thousands of channels, and we don't need to control them, to verify placement manually. We can teach system models to recognize and detect, do advertiser said or shown it properly or not. And this is it was really a step forward to the future, because it right now we can consider hundreds of influencers as a whole channel, this kind of channel of hundreds of thousands of influencers, and that's important. By that we have channel with influencers who has very high engagement rate, averagely low price of placement, because they are no celebrities, and they agree to place on market price, and even less, even lower. And they are filter themselves. They will distribute information. They will distribute information about products and services to which they have positive attitude, or at least neutral attitude, and they never will distribute something they disagree with it. And that's also important, because we don't want to distribute any information. We want to distribute things that people need, things that people like.
Sure.
And that's briefly, that we in 2017 we understand that idea, and in this April we already launched a beta version, this workable release of our platform, and we already launched first campaign, paid placement, and we have several advertisers who right now starting to use this platform. So
excellent.
We spent about a year for building this platform, and right now we start to develop it in several markets.
So for you guys, so just to recap, and then we can jump into your presentations. But so the two questions that I try to answer in these videos for marketing executives and agency owners is, what is the problem or inefficiency the project identified and is attempting to solve, and how are you using blockchain to solve it? So from what I heard from you was you were already working on AI technology, and it sounds like blockchain was the answer to scalability for you, and not because sometimes smart contracts and blockchain are used to provide greater transparency or maybe speed and process of payments to content creators or publishers. But for you, was it more about the scalability?
It was more about scalability and convenience.
Okay.
Because right now, for advertising, if you're an advertiser, you want to launch campaign in different country, you need to find local partner there to transfer them money, and this partner, this agency, will transfer money to influencers. And right, with blockchain, you can launch simultaneously campaign in different countries. And we are working on these last mile services, companies in each country which provide this exchange. And in the end, it should work like you launch campaign, choose countries, and that's it.
Nice.
Blockchain
nice.
provides this convenience. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And it should work. It works right now in some countries, in some countries not, but we are just in the beginning of this way.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Dimitri, I'm going to turn over. You have control of the screen, so go ahead and present whatever you want to. I'm going to go check out the chat. If you are watching us live, if you're from the Telegram community and you're joining Dimitri here in the live video, or if you're from LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile, wherever you're coming from, if you have questions for Dimitri about AdHive or influencer marketing, please put that in the chat. Dimitri, take it away. You got the screen.
Thank you, Dale. So I'm happy to share with you my presentation. It will spend about 10 minutes. I will cover all the major things to explain how what's the main idea of our service and how it works. And later I will show you interfaces of advertisers, and will show how real advertising campaign looks like. So about a year ago, I had an experience of placement advertising on influencer channels, and in the beginning I thought it's really easy, and I need just to agree with them to send money, and that's it. They will execute exactly as I asked them. But in fact, it became total disaster, because after we agreed, some of influencers disappeared, some of them moved the date of this placement, and some of them who placed it actually placed it in another format, in another with another content actually. That's why advertisers, they don't really control this placement, and that's one of the problems which stop the scaling of this channel, because advertisers couldn't trust to influencers, couldn't trust they place the appropriate content. That's why it couldn't be automated or couldn't be really scaled. So we realized this problem, and on the same time, we understand that influencer marketing became a hot thing. Really, return on investment is quite high. It's like on digital 20 years ago. So we understand that influencers and micro-influencers, mostly, it's recommendation service that people recommend to each other. And right now, as you know, a lot of advertisement, a lot of information you got from screen, and you need somehow to choose to what you want to trust or not. And just people who tell you something, that people you know or you like, their recommendation affect on you mostly. That's why we understand that that will be the major marketing channel in the nearest future. And we work right now on Instagram and YouTube. in two channels, in two platforms, which are most popular around the world. Almost in every country, Instagram and YouTube is top three platforms. And right now, for United States, 7 from 10. I mean, each 3 or 4 hashtags sponsored. Each 3 or 4 businesses with more than 100 people, more than 100 employees, have account there. It means that late majority of advertisers already comes to Instagram, and the same with YouTube. And it means that we can use methods, we can use approaches we used last year or 2 years ago. The situation changes quite fast, and we need to choose more accurate approaches, more smart, and for that we developed that Hive. That information is quite basic, but the main idea is the more subscribers influencer has, the more money he wants for the post. But we also need to consider that engagement rate. It means how many comments, how many likes, how many reposts people do on this video. Engagement rate also drop as far as influencers get more and more subscribers. So right now we understand, we realized that micro-influencers, nano-influencers, they are underestimated, undervalued, and placement in long tail. We start from top influencers, which already became celebrities, and long tail of tiny influencers, micro nano influencers, who has a pretty high engagement rate. People trust them, but they agree to place advertisement on average low level. With cheap enough, averagely cheap. And one more thing, ad blocks grow year by year about 30%. So it should be quite sensitive for digital video, but place advertisement with influencers. Ad block don't block advertisement on influencers channels, but influencers itself, they are ad block. I mean that they don't distribute too much advertising. They distributed enough, and they distributed of the appropriate quality, of appropriate style. It means that it really doesn't disturb people much. So to summarize this information, micro-influencers has a lot of advantages. So they have high engagement rate. They have more granular targeting. You can choose the audience of micro when you place advertising on micro-influencers. You can choose narrow niche of audience of people. You have people with micro-influencer and audience are the people with similar problems. They can explain something in their common language, which is also more interesting for viewers, for subscribers, and people more trust them more because they know them, and there is the same people as they are. Then that's their neighbors. If you can compare that. If some celebrity advertise iPhone X, then or your neighbor post photo with iPhone X, it will affect you much more, because if your neighbor already has it, then you probably also should have it, should buy it. And we believe that advertising placement on influencers channel should be fast, convenient, and easy. That's why that's how AdHive platform works. Advertisers need to make just 3 steps. They need to choose audience. They need to create task with task should contain exactly what influencer should show or should say, which words, or which brands or objects or goods they should show, and then set up the budget, how many views they want to collect. That's it. That's enough for advertiser. And after day 2, we will teach our models to recognize these words and objects. Campaign could be started, and also then after that, advertisers need to just control check how many influencers executed this task. I will show you later how it looks in our interface, in our platform. We want that advertiser will spend 10-15 minutes for the whole campaign, as right now we spend on Facebook, on Google, not more than 15 minutes, pretty easy. We don't need to communicate with manager, with bloggers. We have great wall in our platform. We have great wall between advertisers and influencers. No communications, no negotiations, nothing. Just setting up the campaign, and that's it. And from technical perspective, we have fully automation. We have video and speech recognition, and we monitor daily every channel on our platform, so we understand which influencer executed task or not. We have advanced billing system thanks to blockchain. We can work with different platforms, different social networks. Actually, every social network which has open API, but right now we work with 2 of them, with Instagram and YouTube. We already can analyze real-time streams. We can technically work with Twitch, but right now we didn't prepare interface for them. So right now it's almost impossible to place advertisement on streams because you need to track it real time. Impossible. But we can set it, and you can place advertisement there. It is the next step, because advertisers don't really consider it as a channel. From my point of view, most of advertisers don't really consider it. And we want to create kind of native ad protocol, the standard which advertisers will use, will understand, and very soon advertisers will understand how they can formulate tasks and how they can do it more and more effectively. That influencers should distribute across their audience. Actually, one of the main things one of the major ideas we have, that micro-influencers, they consist of 2 groups. One of them is micro-influencers who want to be big influencers, top influencers. They consider them as influencers already, and they looking after. They searching, how top influencers act and trying to do the same. And another group is influencers who don't consider them as influencers. That people with 200, 300, 400, 500 subscribers, followers, they will still have this amount of followers, but on the same time they're ready to share with their subscribers, with their followers, with information. some photos, some videos, some advices, and they are ready to distribute content they agree with it. In Asia, there are several services already for people who can place sponsored photos on Instagram and get small amounts of money. That's not an issue for them. That's just it became habit. So people share with information they share anyway, but they get small amounts of money for it. That's better than nothing. And for a lot of people, that they like it, and they didn't know earlier that they can earn some money for it, but and after they understand they can earn money, they agree to earn a small amount of money. They don't want to be influencers. They just use their social networks for it. And this is two groups. Actually, we're going to work with both these groups, with future influencers, future top influencers, and people who have social networks. That's it, and don't want to be top influencers. And that's briefly overview of our platform. And if you have any question, I would be happy to comment, to reply, and later I will show you how I will show our interface and explain in details how to start, how to launch campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking. So I know we discussed before kind of the time period that you wanted to keep the interview in. I will mention one more time, as Dimitri just did, if you have questions, please feel free to do it in the live chat. If you joined us from over in the Telegram group, this is your opportunity to, you know what, this is your opportunity to talk to Dimitri directly, even though you guys do your Q&A. And Dimitri, I did want to say that of all the projects that I follow, you guys do a really, really good job in the transparency of what's going on in the project. You guys post information. I think you put information out on Medium quite a bit, like Medium posts and other places. So you're keeping everybody informed of what's going on. So, hats off to you for doing that. Do you want to demo the advertiser dashboard, or do you want to just pop into any one of those to show people what they would look like? Your call.
You say, okay, let's.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, I'm in the beta dashboard, but there's really nothing. I haven't done anything in there, so it's pretty blank.
Okay, let me then show you how it looks like. Just a second.
Yeah, sure. And as I had mentioned, if you're an agency owner and you dabble in influencer marketing, or maybe you're a brand that you use some influencer marketing, beta, correct me if I'm wrong, Dimitri, but beta platform for advertisers just went live in April, right?
Yes, correctly. That's
okay. So you can sign up for that right now, right? So this is the cool thing, and yes,
you can sign up. It's available, and you can launch campaign there.
Yeah, yep. And we haven't talked about the tokens yet and how those get used, but this is a great opportunity just to see what the simplicity of the dashboard.
Yeah, just a few words how token works. We have ADH token, and this token is the central part of this platform because advertisers, when they start campaign, they need to technically they need to transfer money. It could be wired, but after that we buy token for all this budget. We buy ADH tokens and keep them on advertisers' account. As far as influencers executed task properly, we transfer them by portion, these ADH tokens, daily to every influencer. Influencer get tokens during the first 8 days. First 7 days, they receive tokens by amount of views they collected. So we have right now we have just CPM model, cost per 1,000 views. So this is the only model we have right now. Later we will implement CPA also. So for 7 days, influencer receive tokens based on number of views they collected for the day. And on the 8th day, influencer get the rest, because for that moment we already understand, we already can predict pretty precisely how much views this video collect in the future for the first 30 days. We pay for 30 days. So we analyzed all the previous video of this influencer and understand the difference, and we create mathematical model how to predict number of views of next video. So we will transfer during the first 8 days. We will transfer all the money, all the tokens to every influencer. By that, day by day, we charge advertisers' account and transfer tokens to influencers. If advertiser wants to stop campaign, all the rest tokens we can return advertiser. Also, we have on platform hedging system, which hedge risk of advertiser and influencer. So every day influencer get the same amount of the same value. I mean, it could be different amount of tokens if price will be changed, but influencer will get the same value daily as he should receive. That's why we don't depend on the exchange rate of the token. Several more things. Influencer to participate in next campaign, just first campaign for influencers for free. To participate in next campaign, they need to pay. They need to have guarantee deposit. After they click on apply, we charge them about 7–10% of their potential reward of every influencer. It means that they can risk by this portion of token. We want to avoid situation that an influencer will click on every campaign that they want to apply, they want to execute this task, and in the end they don't execute anything, nothing. That's why day by day more and more tokens on our platform will be placed or on advertisers account or on influencers account, and they need to use these tokens on platform. So that should provide us quite flexibility on platform, so we can promote certain campaigns by adding specific promotional tokens. And today, without burning ADH tokens, we will decrease the free float, the amount of free tokens on exchange. Day by day, the more the more campaigns we have, the more tokens will be locked on the platform, because advertisers also lock all the tokens for the period of campaign. Okay. So this is the main idea, one of the ideas of ADH tokens. So we don't need to burn them, but day by day the amount of free token will be decreased. and that's about our token.
So let me ask you a question when we're here, and again, with the idea that these videos are really intended for people currently in the marketing space, and maybe they're already doing media buys. When you looked there, and I looked at those numbers, it said, and you're a CPM basis, right? You're a cost per thousand. So, but also if you're watching this and you're thinking about these platforms, it does take a bit of a mind shift, because when you look at, when I did the quick math, that meant 1380H was a CPM, but we're used to thinking in dollars. So what is, am I as an advertiser going to have to do a translation of dollars to?
Yeah, that's just first version of interface. We already had a feedback that we need to add value in fiat currency. You're completely right. Next version will be much more convenient for advertisers. They will be able to assess quickly the CPM and the efficiency.
Cool. Okay, so when we also think about, again, reminding everybody, I will put the link to AdHive in probably to. I was also going to say is if you catch this video and maybe you are a micro influencer, or maybe you do some influencing marketing, you can try it out now too. You don't have to just be an advertiser. You know, it's open to influencers and advertisers. So I will put those links in the video description or in the LinkedIn posts as well. But so understanding that you're in beta and, you know, you're getting some, you know, first of all, huge congratulations to making it to a beta stage. We know that there's plenty of projects out there in the crypto space that don't make it that far. So just by the fact that you guys have a working product out there, you're way out ahead for a lot of the projects.
Thank you. Yeah, we tried our best to launch it as soon as possible.
Sure. So what you would call you're in beta and you're working on that MVP, and it's going to improve over time. The metrics, the reporting metrics will be there so people can see how that works. And looking at your roadmap, are you on target, do you feel, on your roadmap right now, or where are you at in the development? Ahead of schedule, on schedule?
Yeah, actually we really ahead of schedule, because already, how to say, we realized that we can do some development faster than we planned to do. And that's not only we need it faster. We have requests from the market, and next week we will announce new. Actually, last week we announced our billing system, which is quite advanced solution, and we will develop it further. And also we understand that we need some solution faster than we planned to do.
Sure.
That's why we're a bit ahead of our roadmap, and even real-time streams we will have this year, but we plan to do it later. So we are ahead, and we are probably how to say, we should be right now not, but we should be ahead of revenue plan also, because right now we have a funnel of advertisers, and they ask us to develop some additional things, and we understand that after we understand this is the common request of advertisers, so we need to we didn't realize it when we planned, but right now we met with some certain requests from advertising from industry, and we need to adjust our platform in terms of legal part, taxation, and so on, kind of really business requests.
Sure. And as I understand it from the things that I because I lurk in everybody's Telegram group and I'm kind of snooping on what all the projects are doing, I got the sense that it was primarily, most of the growth of the influencers have been in Asia and Europe. Do you see where on the roadmap where the States, North America is going to come into the picture? That's first part of the question. And second part of the question is, what is your model for, do you advertise to get influencers to come in, or are you on social media? How are you getting influencers to come in at scale?
I see. First part, actually, we right now we launched in Indonesia, and we're going to launch during this year also one or maybe two countries in Asian part, and on Q3 we need to launch operation in the United States.
Okay.
That's more legal issues than technical.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, a lot of things to do. So we want to launch in different parts of the world to understand how it works. I mean, which is real request from advertising industry, because they're quite different, and we want to use advantages of both, of all the regions, of all the continents.
Sure.
So that's why we have quite an ambitious plan in terms of geography presence. In terms of our business model, we have actually two parts of them. One is the traditional agency model. So we attract influencers, and if I understand your question actually, but let me say a few words about our business model. So one part of it is traditional agency. So we collect, we invite influencers and invite also advertisers. So we distribute advertising tasks to influencers on our base, in our database, and works like agency.
Okay.
Just also to understand how this industry works in particular country. Then next step will be a white label of the platform. We don't want to collect every influencer on our platform. We understand that that's impossible. We don't need it at all, and advertising market is quite fragmented. So also till the end of the year, till the end of the year, we need to launch first white label of the platform, because we already have negotiation with companies who operate, who place their advertising on 300 or 400 influencers. They manage them manually. PR departments of several people manage them manually using Google Docs with highlighted. And they're ready to use our platform as a tool, and we're happy to deliver them it. But we need to be quite experienced to deliver them convenient tool. That's why we need to start as an agency to understand every tiny detail of this business, and then create it as a tool for advertisers. So we don't want to get business from agencies, from brands. We just want to deliver them convenient tool, and our model is the only thing they need is they need to use our token on this platform. Mm-hmm. That's it. They will earn all the commission from these deals. We don't need even part of this commission. We just want they use our token. That's it. That's how we build this environment, and how we build demand for our token. So we will build it by not only our hands, by hands of all the agencies, all the brands around the world. That's the token model for the coming future.
Well, that's great. I learned something I didn't even know about the white label option. So under that, really, if I'm an agency and I'm already working with influencers, I bring in AdHive, the white label version, and I bring my influencers over to, I just put them in. So just add water and you got a new platform. So I didn't know about that. So you folks are learning about that just as I'm learning about that. So very cool. Maybe it's something that we'll look at here in the future, and certainly paying attention to third quarter. So we're coming up on about an hour. I wanted to respect your time, Dimitri, on this, and I'm going to check chat.
Okay, give it please 5 minutes. I will show you.
Take as much time as you need.
Okay. I will show you right now how easy you can start campaign.
Pay attention, folks. This is an important part. This is the nuts and bolts that you tune in for.
So do you see?
Yep. Yep. You're fine.
So this is interface for advertiser. You have list of your campaigns, and you can start. You have content. The place the tab where you deliver materials for teaching system to recognize objects. List of campaigns and new campaign. For new campaign, you need to write name of campaign, campaign description. That's for you, and and then you need to choose audience. You need to choose, let's say, all gender, age from, let's say, 17 to 58, like 17 to 50, audience, language, and audience country.
Okay.
Right now, let's say with this audience, right now we have 97 influencers, or 27 influencers with total amount of views. That's strange. Okay, so totally we have right now active influencers with the conformed channels, who is able to, who is ready to receive task, about 900 influencers, with total amount of views, potential amount of views, about 5 million. On the next tab, you need to choose amount of views or amount of, it will be changed to amount of dollars or fiat currency, which more convenient. So you choose amount of views and then understand amount of dollars or ETH tokens you need to spend for this. Then next, you need to add task. You need to add portion of the task. Here you need to say that, to show logo and to say words. Then you need to add task details. So you need to add here you can put picture which you loaded previously and or right now, to which you need to use for teaching our system to recognize it.
Okay.
How many times you want it should be shown? Any comment, let's say in the beginning of video, or not later than 10 minutes every comment, which could be formalized. And you can add stop words also, that words you don't want that influencers say during the whole video.
Okay.
And as a next, you need to choose task distribution. It means how much, let's say that how you can use several partition of this task. So how many views you want to spend on this kind of this particular task. So it could be a few one here, and you can change percentage of total views. So if you run campaign with Coca-Cola, you can launch one of them. You should say that Coca-Cola is good thing, and another task will be Coca-Cola is quite tasty. So you can split 50-50 or 40-60. And next, you need to start, and you need to choose dates, date of start and date of finish. That's it. Actually, run campaign, and your campaign will run. Your campaign will run right now after manual moderation. Right now, we work. That's the current status of system. We need to understand. We need to right now personally check the task itself, because we have a lot of legal issues, and right now we're working on automation of this part also. So in the end, you will get campaign. Let's check campaign which finished. So you have how you as advertiser can see your campaign. So you have total basic details of audience, analytics, how many impressions, which is CPM and amount of influencers, and list of influencers who is executed or not yet but applied to do.
Okay.
You can open task, and you can see that this influencer placed this photo with the interface of this mobile application.
So you can verify it right from the dashboard. Nice.
Yes, if you want, you can verify, but you should be you can be sure that we verified it automatically, because we can verify 97-98% of pictures of objects, and even more of words. So that's how it looks like. That you can spend 10-15 minutes for this campaign, and we help advertisers to launch a campaign for the first time and for several in the beginning, because that's not easy for advertisers to formulate what they want really influencer will do. And we have tested, we launched about 4 test campaigns, and advertisers were surprised how good and how attractive influencers execute tasks. But they just mentioned that they need to say that this healthy food, they use this healthy food. That was the only description. An influencer find the ways how to explain it attractively. Right now we didn't meet any bad cases, only good one. An influencer trying to explain it in a good way, in a way their audience like.
Well, one thing I would point out as you were going through that, so probably about 3 years ago, I know it's more than 2 years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, I looked into a few of the influencer marketing platforms that were coming out then, and there was a lot of work involved, right? It would show you all these influencers, but it was still a very manual process of deciding which influencers you wanted to pick, and there was a lot involved there. So the thing I would want to point out in what Dimitri showed is at no point in there did you have to go through all this list of influencers and look at their blogs and look at their social profiles and do all of that and click the ones you wanted. It is with the application of AI and smart matching that allowed Dimitri to create that program or that campaign and be able to do it at scale, because now once you've defined everything in that campaign, the platform, implying, using that smart matching technology and AI, goes out there and finds those influencers for you. So you don't spend the next 5 days picking influencers and all of that. So that's pretty innovative.
Thank you. You explained in the best way our advantage, because when you try to choose particular influencers, it became very difficult, because I cannot choose enough influencers, because I don't understand which is I like him or I don't like. I have no criteria, and that's why it's very difficult.
Yeah, in the conversations in the past I've had with brands around influencer marketing, it was exactly that, is what criteria are they using to determine what's a good influencer and what's not a good influencer? Because sometimes you might look at their social profile. Take for this example, Instagram. You go to their Instagram, you see a few pictures that you like, and that influences your decision on whether or not to work with them, but you've not really applied any metrics or any type of analytics to making that decision. It was strictly an emotional decision. So this kind of takes that emotion out of it, and I think it's a great thing. You guys are heading down the road, and you're making things happen. So I would say again, if nothing else, I'll put up the link where you can go there and just get into the beta platform and see. The other thing I'll mention too is one of the things I try and do here, at least in the metropolitan area that I'm at, certainly in the US, if you are not, let's say you're not comfortable with the cryptocurrency space and you don't know how to go about entering into the space, I mean, that's one of the things that I hope to be able to help brands with, and even other agencies with, is how do I start? I've purchased so many cryptocurrencies over the year that I can, I do it all the time. So to get you over that hump of how do I even buy these tokens, that can be a conversation. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can help you out with that. So you got anything else, Dmitry?
No, thank you. We spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think that's enough for the for the first time.
Absolutely.
So we discussed a lot of things. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And like I said to the interview I did last week, I know all of these projects there's going to be always new news coming out, and iterations and improvements to the platform. So Dmitry, you're always welcome to come back and give us an update in the future as things change, and as we get into Q3. Whatever. I'll also be doing updates on the various projects that I've been interviewing in our blog. So if Brave Browser has some updates, if AdHive has some updates, I got a few more projects coming up in the weeks ahead I'm going to be doing interviews with. So make sure you check out the blog. Also, in the meantime, if you watch the recorded version of this, give us a thumbs up on this video saying that you appreciate this content. I would also say hit the subscribe button, and maybe even the notifications button, so you can be notified when the next one, because I'm not very good at doing these videos on the same day every week, and that's probably not going to be the case. So make sure you hit the notifications to get notified. I haven't decided on next week's project yet, but that'll be coming. So Dmitry, thank you very much for introducing us to AdHive, and I wish you guys the greatest of success. But of course, I'll be talking to you guys in the Telegram group as well. So thanks, Dmitry.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Folks, I'll see you in the next episode of On the Blockchain, where we continue to explore ad tech, marketing tech, and digital media on the blockchain. Have a great week, everybody.